Well, and then now for something completely different. And we are going to discuss the oncopolicy agenda of ECCO and the launching of the European Academy of Cancer Sciences. So, why a European Academy of Cancer Sciences? Well, first of all, you must understand why we have ECCO. ECCO, the European Cancer Organization, is an umbrella organization which has inside, basically, or strives to have inside, basically all the scientific societies like ESMO, ESTRO, ESSO, etc. But also, on top of that, because what would it make different from FECS, the federation of those cancer societies in the past, to expand and get an umbrella over all those professionals and patients and cancer leagues and all those organizations that are truly active in the cancer field. And therefore, ECCO has an expanded board of 13 seats, which has the original Federation of Cancer Societies members inside, 6, plus 7 open seats, where any society that has a true presence and activity in the field of cancer research, be it clinical, translational, basic, or is active in the field of patient advocacy, oncopolicy making, oncology institutes programs, national cancer plan programs, European cancer leagues, etc., where representatives of those societies can be voted into that board to organize and structure the onco society, the cancer society in Europe. Why? Why? To structure, advise, and to deal with common denominator problems in a central way and in an organized and homogeneous way. For that, to give guidance to such a process, you need a body, you need to construct something that has prestige, that stands above the parties, that has extraordinary expertise to deal with the questions that we all grapple with and that we need to address in Europe to move the cancer agenda forward, that would directly improve not only cancer research but immediately also the translation of that cancer research to the treatment of the cancer patient, and therefore to make true what is the axioma of ECCO, is that every cancer patient deserves the best, and that at every level, how to structure oncology community in Europe, you need to be active to achieve that. So this European Academy of Cancer Science is there not only to be European, but also to be the first organized structure to give guidance to this process, and not on a dubious way, but based on true proof of excellence by the composition of such a body. And it needs to encompass all areas of oncology, as I already explained. So this body then needs to provide independent, authoritative, and evidence-based advice. Now these are 3 very important words: independent, authoritative, and evidence-based advice, which is very different from a lot of the consulting that goes on in the oncology arena right now between oncopolicymakers, politicians, and to whom they talk, whom do they believe, and what kind of information are they getting. And this may be extremely heterogeneous and very unorganized, which is actually one of the main problems of the oncology community in Europe, because there are so many different disciplines involved. So it takes a very big effort to get this organized and get this structured. It is an independent body, and it is just managed by ECCO administratively and logistically, supported by ECCO. So you need an academy to go to for this European consultation process. And this can be provided to ECCO members and non-member societies who can have their own questions and put it on the table of this academy, but it can be from politicians and policymakers. So this high-level group of experts then needs to have an interface in the decision-making process, and this is where ECCO plays a role, the board of directors and the oncopolicy committee. And that is the interface with this academy, which is composed now of 114 highly renowned oncology scientists and clinicians. So how did we get these names? What was the process? We constructed this first slate of the European Academy of Cancer Sciences by consulting all the professional societies, that are out there, so ESMO, and ESTRO, and ESSO, and EACR, etc., but we also went to all the National Academies of Science for propositions, for nominations, what in their view were the excellent scientists in the clinical field, in the basic scientific field, to be nominated, to be considered for becoming members of this founding group of the European Academy of Cancer Sciences. Now, to oversight that process, we had Nobel Prize winners as the nomination committee, who looked at all these CVs and looked at whether the propositions were indeed worthy of being part of this founding member slate of the European Academy of Cancer Sciences. And these were Paul Nurse, who is now at the Rockefeller Institute in New York, or has been already for quite a few years, 8 years. Harald von Zulhausen, who is the most recent Nobel Prize winner. He is the former director of the Deutsche Krebsforschungszentrum. And Umberto Veronesi, he's not a Nobel Prize winner, but as you may know, Umberto Veronesi was the former Minister of Health. In Italy, he's the director of the European Institute of Oncology, and he's one of the fathers of oncology in Europe. So they looked at this, and we went through this composition process that ended up with these 114 undisputable and undisputed names, to make sure that everybody sees that this is a very serious effort and that it's not for lack of quality and for expertise, but that this has been achieved, and that there is a balance in disciplines, nationalities, and gender, and that there are 19 countries represented in this European Academy at this point. So this fellowship, then, to be fellow of the European Academy of Cancer Sciences, is a lifelong distinction. But you also will have to be involved then in writing position papers, and you have to interact with the EU institutions, European Commission, the building of framework programs, and how you compose the items and the type of programs that you want to promote in cancer research. How do you structure that? How do you structure initiatives of national cancer plans, etc.? And it has to interact with the ECCO Policy Committee, because it has become the core mission of ECCO to be active in this structuralizing field and structuring the onco community in Europe. So we have to ensure that cancer stays at the top of the policy agenda, because after all, it will be the #1 mortality cause also in Europe. So we analyze a number of problems. We have collective knowledge. We will prepare strategy papers. We will look at how to best boost cancer research in Europe, and all this should lead to this position paper by the end of 2010. Analyze how the barriers to research, the complexity of Europe, can be overcome and channeled, and propose, obviously, then priorities in the oncopolicy arena. So all this then needs to be worked out in the, especially first 1.5 years to come, to then further define how the election process will be done and how the statutes of the Academy will be put together, because it will be a fully independent organ. It's been bestowed upon me to have the honor to be the first president of this European Academy of Cancer Science, because when an organization creates something, you have to have some starting point. But rest assured, the next president will be much more famous and will be much more talented and will be of much higher scientific caliber than the person who's speaking to you now, because the names that are in this European Academy are simply phenomenal. So this is going to be a very serious structure that should bring structure to onco community, science, prevention, care in Europe. So we actually exist, and this will be rolled out tomorrow in the first presidential session. And you can visit us at the website as listed here, www.europeancanceracademy.eu. The section about us is there right now. All the other sections are, of course, a work in progress. Which means that I would like to immediately give you then now the opportunity to bombard us with questions. So all three speakers and the president of ESMO is very willing to answer your questions. There we are.